Hello everybody. Today I want to build a tier list for Pokemon Unite Auto Chess. Now I don't think I have seen a tier list for Pokemon Unite Auto Chess, so this might be the first one. And yeah, so let's dive in. I set up a little tier list, um, and I want to go and approach it by the type. So basically, uh, by combination type, because I think at the end of the day, it's not the Pokemon that makes it strong. It is going to be the type that you go with. Let's say you go with 5 EVs, 6 EVs, and or Ice type versus Psychic, and so on. Now, obviously, let's be honest. Fire type with only 3 fire Pokemon, and fire type if you get 2 fire chips and you get a fire 5 type, fire type 5. Say that 3 times fast. That's going to be a different story, right? But I'm talking about based on my experience, how I felt playing those move types, and these are kind of my recommendations. If in the beginning of the game you don't know if you're going to get those chips or if you're not going to get those chips, so these are going to be some advice from me to you in terms of what actually was winning games for me. So, without further ado, let's just jump into the tier list and let's get through it quickly. 5 tiers: S tier, the super strong tier. I've had the most success winning games with this tier. A tier, which are very good move, very good move sets, very good Pokemon. I had good amount of success. They are pretty dominant. Nothing to really complain. They're not overpowered, but they're very good. The B tier are okay. I felt that those were always strong, but they were always lacking a little bit. There's always another move combination or type combination that was always stronger than that. The C tier were the meh. You can get better. It's not the worst. I've seen people win with them. I won myself with those, but they're definitely not very strong. And then the D tier is like, why am I even playing this, right? So there there aren't that many types in the D tier, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So um, let's jump at the bottom. So I didn't just put the types, so like fairy, fire, and so on. I also included the secondary type. I honestly don't know what to call them because everything is in Chinese, so I'm just inventing my own names. So we do know that these are the all-rounders, the attack speed, the defenders. Then these are called offensive, right? So what it does, it gives you more attack damage, and then you have this skill type. Skill type is anything that is well, I assume that it's like special attackers, right? But I might be wrong. It might be damage of the skill, and these are the strong move types. Now, this is where things get confusing in Pokemon Unite Chess, and we'll probably get a better explanation once it becomes translated properly to English. Is I don't understand the difference between these two. I don't know if there's such a thing as attack and special attack in that game. I assume there is, but not quite sure. And then this and this. Anyways, it gets a little bit confusing there. And then we have the support, obviously. So let's begin. Um, let's go probably from left to right. Let's hit all the black ones first, or all of the types. No, let's go through the proper types first. So first of all, dark types, right? Dark types, they're definitely strong. Definitely strong. I think most of the games that I've been playing with dark types, I've won almost all of them. And the only caveat is that you do struggle a little bit early game if you cannot stack enough of your dark bonus. You do tend to struggle, but honestly, most of the games I played dark type, I finished in the top 4, and oftentimes it was number 1 or number 2. So I definitely put it as a super strong type. I definitely recommend it. Try to play dark type whenever you can. It is very strong. Then we go towards the EVs. EVs got a buff recently. They were always good. Now, are they very good or are they okay? They're not. They're not the best, right? They're not. It's not an automatic win. I do feel like there is a little bit work to be done on the EVs. They used to be stronger when Glacian was stronger because Glacian was a carry. They're missing a little bit. I'm gonna put them in the B tier, but they're kind of like in between A and B tier, right? Electric is an A tier. Very good, very good. And the reason for that is you can combine them with so many things. Zeraora Unite move is very, very good and slept on. Zapdos Unite was always good. You do get it towards the end, but the Zeraora Unite, you get it early on, and you can do a lot of damage. It heals, it does damage, it's an AoE, and it's great. It's very, very good. And Pikachu, early game, Pikachu, that Electro Ball hits somebody for 40% of their HP, paired up with Orange Glasses, very strong. So Electric, I oftentimes actually paired up Electric with Dark, and it came out super well for me. Fairies used to be very good. I believe since the last change, this is the last patch, I would put them in a B tier, simply because of my nerf, or more likely the nerf to the way that the Unite move activates, was very big. Mine was a big chunk of the Fairy build, and now without the Mime Unite constantly creating CC, it does drop it down into tier. And Zacian, you need to really get lucky to get 1 or 2 chips for Zacian to really come online. There's a nice video of Zacian one-shotting or nearly one-shotting my whole team with the Unite move. So, but it is very hard to get that Zacian Unite move. Fighting is another one that I would say it's an S tier. Definitely, at least it's A tier. You have Urshifu in Fighting, and if you get a couple of chips, 1 chip on Fighting does a lot of extra damage. And Fighting combines together with the All-Rounder very well, and what the All-Rounder does, it does lifesteal, so you can do a lot of sustain and damage at the same time using your Fighting types. So definitely an S tier in my opinion. Fire type. Now Fire type, it's one of those that you have to be lucky. If you get your Fire type chips, it is very good, A tier or maybe even S tier. If you don't get Fire chips, I don't want to put in the C tier, but it's either B or C, and we'll see if we get a lot of B tiers. I'll probably drop it down to C, because if I were to pick between EVs or Fairies or Fire, no doubt about it, I'm gonna go for EV or Fairy. Fire has been one of my most lost on type so far. So I mean, it's not the most, but it's definitely down there. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it in the C tier, but that's just my personal opinion. Grass. Oh, Grass. So still a C tier. They're buffing it. They're getting it up there. My issue with Grass is that there's not enough frontline, especially early game. Who are you gonna put as of your frontline? Your Leafeon? Leafeon just gonna get KO'd one shot. Leafeon itself is not a very good Pokemon. I think what would help Grass is if they changed the rarity on Eldegoss and put it a blue, so a two cost unit. That would help them a lot, because then you can get your defense, your front line early on, and that's going to be good. You can get lucky with Grass, and it's a question of luck how you're going to roll your buyout. Once you buy out at the highest tier, you can get very good items, or you can get really bad items. So Yeah, grass, not consistent, definitely needs more buffs. Ice, oh, one of my favorite ones. Honestly, ice is one of my favorite ones. I would definitely say it used to be a S tier. Nerfs to Glaceon, nerfs to Mamo, um, made it come down. It is still very strong. It's one of the only consistent builds that can deal with Urshifu. Glaceon versus Urshifu, Glaceon wins often. The only time Glaceon doesn't win is if Glaceon is stuck on attacking a defender during spawn. Then Glaceon doesn't have enough time to kill the defender and switch targeting to Urshifu and kill the Urshifu. So that's the only thing. Other than that, if Glaceon, let's say, attacks a support, kills the support, switches to Urshifu, freezes Urshifu, kills Urshifu, it's game over for Urshifu. Psychic. If you've been watching my live streams, you know my love for Psychic is definitely in the D tier. But I've seen a lot of folks play, a lot of folks do well with it. I don't do well with it. For me, it's an S tier. Sorry, it's a C tier, not an S tier. Oh my god, it's a C tier. And Rock, well, Rock is a D tier just simply because there are two Pokemon that have Rock, Crustle and Titar. Titar, very good, but the Titar, you build it as a Dark type, and Titar 2-star Unite move, you give it a crown and you give it the Black Hood, is just gonna run away with the game. Crustle, on the other hand, very underwhelming, but it's a one-cost Pokemon, so nothing much to expect, and they're sort of on the opposites. So if you want to save up and you want to get your Crustle and your Titar to get some Rock combination, you kind of have to. Anyways, it's. I think they're missing some Pokemon in between in order for you to be able to actually leverage the Rock type. Then finally, Water. Water is definitely good. It's either very good or okay. There's a lot of stuff with Water and a lot of positives and negatives. They did some buffs on the Blastoise that I find now pushed it into a very good tier. I didn't play enough Water to build an opinion, but I do have a feeling that it is a very good combination. Now let's move to the secondary types. All-rounders are definitely either very good or super strong. The reason for that is that the all-rounders and the fighting type together combined, super strong, super strong. So if you're just playing the all-rounders and you're just kind of like mix and matching things, you want to go for 4 all-rounders, it's still very good, but not as good as fighting all-rounders, for sure. Attack speed. Now, attack speed, this is a mechanic that you have to understand. The faster you attack, the faster you're going to get your moves out, and moves are the ones that deal most damage. So attack speed is indirectly super powerful. Is it S tier? Is it S tier? You do have a lot of Dark paired up with attack speed. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know. They're both equally very good. Both equally good. This is more sustain. This is more damage. Both great. Both pair up super well with the S tier. And probably whatever pairs up well with the S tier, it would be very, very strong. With just alone, they are a very good combination. I don't think any of the black ones are OP. So I'm gonna leave them in the A tier. Now let's go for defenders. I don't know why you would build 4 defenders, and I don't think you're going to get enough damage afterwards once you build up your 4 defenders. So I'm going to put it in the D tier together with the supporters. Same thing, same principle. They're not made to be the primary bonus givers. Now let's go to the punching, what I call. So this is the offensive. It is good. It's definitely A tier or a B tier combination. I don't know if it's going to be more on the A or B. I'm going to put it in the B tier because if I were to pick between this or the all-rounder or the attack speed, I would definitely pick these two rather than this. But you saw in my game against Zacian, turned out to be very, very, very powerful, very strong. My psychic skill types. So it's not. Look, the buffs are very good. You at the end of it, you get 40% more damage on your skill moves. And if you think about it, that's an Espeon in there. An Espeon already does a lot of damage. 40% more damage. You put in orange glasses on that, that will probably scale up to 100% more damage. So it's mind-blowing the damage it can do. So, but somehow I was never able to get a good amount of luck with it. So I'm gonna put it as a B tier. It is a B tier. Same with this, I have not played enough because the Pokemon in this tier are a little weird. So you have Bulbasaur, you have Delphox in there. I believe you have Froakie. Sorry, not Froakie, but the Italian in there. They're all very weak backliners. So if you're facing an Urshifu, you just get rolled. Urshifu just comes in the backline, eliminates your backline, and arrivederci. So not the greatest. Now, finally, these three, they have their own unique types, and I would not recommend you to build just around them. But I decided to put them anyways because some people will tell me like, hey, what about Dragonite, and what about this type and that type? So I would say between the three of them, Snorlax is definitely B tier. And don't get me wrong, B tier is not bad. Like, none of these are bad. These are all good. These are all good. They're just not the best, in my opinion. So, and Snorlax often is the backbone of late game combinations. If you have Snorlax pairs up very well with electric, it pairs up very well into fire. All of those that are missing your 5th or 6th Pokemon, Snorlax would be recommended. Dragonite and Gengar. Gengar is strong, and I feel like it's a little bit slept on because Gengar Unite makes it very, very strong. It can one-shot, and it has one-shot my whole team several times over. I would not call it S tier. I have never actually played enough Gengar to understand if it's very good or super strong. So it could be either of this, could be either places. Dragonite, gonna give it a B tier because it's strong, but I never had luck with it. Every time I have a Dragonite, even if I give it a night move and everything, it doesn't do as well as if I had an Urshifu. I always feel like Urshifu does much better than Dragonite, but Gengar and Urshifu, they're sort of comparable, so that's why I'm going to put it in a B tier. So that's my tier list for you. Let me know in a comment what you think, if you agree, if you don't agree, if I forgot anything, if there are any combinations that I missed out. And once again, this is for the current patch. Now, obviously, patches in China, Pokemon Unite do come very often, so expect this to change, and I'll try to drop these videos for future patches as well. All right, thank you.